welcome to episode 57 of the Tigers, a podcast all about the National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. This week, it's pre-season. Pre-season is underway. Solway fans, I know, you played the week before, but I'm going to count your previous weekend as well as sort of part of this first weekend roundup, because this has seen all teams in the league play some games. So, yeah, we might as well jump straight into it. Oh no, we can't, because news from Tigers camp is Ross Connolly has signed, which gives us an extra D-man and definitely some more experience, I think, at the back end, which will be very useful, I get the feeling. So we've still got relatively young D. And also, in terms of the forwards, Joe Aston has been announced as re-signing as well. Good solid signing. You know what you're going to get. Plenty of grit. He's going to go into those areas, do those jobs. Yeah, really solid signing. And yeah, he's going to be another one of those players who is just going to make us pretty awkward to play against on the whole. So yeah, happy to see Joe return for this season as well. That's news for the camp, so we might as well get into the pre-season fixtures as promised. So we're going to cast our minds all the way back now to Saturday, August 24th. Solway Sharks kicked off the pre-season on the Saturday and the Sunday with a double-header against Glasgow Clan. Saturday they lost 8-1, and on the Sunday they lost 7-2. No great surprises. They're up against an Elite League team. I think it's what you'd expect, really. That an Elite League team with many more non-British trained players coming out on top there. Fast forward to the weekend that's just gone. The action got underway on Friday night. Again, with a National League team taking on an Elite League team. This time it was the turn of Milton Keynes Lightning to go to Coventry. A fixture that I think they played last season, so this seems to be becoming a bit of a regular occurrence for them. And again, the Elite League team run out as winners. Finished Coventry Blaze 10, Milton Keynes Lightning 2. Also on Friday, we saw the first national team take on another national team as Sheffield Steel Dogs hosted the Leeds Knights. Well, interesting, I think is what we're going to go for. It finally finished 8-7 to the Leeds Knights, and it took overtime to get there. I think there've been a fair few questions and wondering about, lots of players have come into Sheffield. What's it going to be like? I mean, they went toe-to-toe, very much so, with, well, I think everybody's favourite for the league, really. So early signs are good, but of course, it's just pre-season. So maybe we shouldn't get too carried away with results. But, I mean, if they can be doing that against Leeds, it does make you wonder where they could finish this season. Moving on to the Saturday. So we had Romford Raiders hosted the Peterborough Phantoms, and that one finished Romford 6, Peterborough 3. Bit of a surprise in my book. Romford winning, yeah, perhaps, but by 3 goals, I think was sort of the real surprising aspect to it, perhaps. Continuing in the Yorkshire Cup, as it's been christened, got Hull Seahawks hosted the Sheffield Steel Dogs. After their heroics of the night before, the Steel Dogs won. They beat Hull Seahawks by 6-4. So that's a really impressive result for them on the road, I would say. Next up, there was, excuse me, I'll just take a closer look. Solway Sharks and the Edinburgh Capitals. That one finished 7-2 to the Sharks, as perhaps you might expect, with them taking on Edinburgh, who I think are a Scottish National League team. Somebody feel free to correct me if I've got that one wrong. The shock result of the weekend, Bristol took on Slough, and Slough won in overtime, 2-1. So a National League South team beat Bristol on home ice. Very surprising result. Definitely the surprise result of the weekend. And last but not least, Milton Keynes Lightning hosted Essen Mosquitoes, and that finished 3-1 to the visitors. I say last but not least, I know Swindon and Telford played. I'm going to get to that right at the end. Moving on to Sunday, Solway and Edinburgh played again. Again, a victory for Solway, this time 7-4. Also, we had up the Jets and Bristol played again. And this time, perhaps as everybody would have expected, Bristol ran out winners 6-1. Leeds hosted Hull in the Yorkshire Cup, and that one finished Leeds 5, Hull 6 in overtime. Tell you what, the three Yorkshire teams, they're putting on some barnstormers here in the pre-season. Could they take the top 3 spots is now what I'm starting to wonder. And last but not least, Peterborough Phantoms and Romford Raiders. Peterborough won this one, and it was pretty convincing with a 6-0 win on home ice. So that's pre-season, with the exception of Swindon and Telford. So just go into those games a little bit more. So Saturday night, it finished 4-1 to the Wildcats. First period, I think, was pretty even. Wildcats probably had the better of the chances, but pretty even. Second period, just didn't get started really. Certainly not until sort of 10, 11 minutes into the period, and the Wildcats got a couple of goals by that point. Ended up making it 3-0. Scott McKenzie pulled one back with a fine finish from fairly close in. Got some 5-on-3 penalties late in the game. Couldn't take advantage, and it finished 4-1 with an empty net goal. Pretty much I would say pretty much length of the ice. That's probably stretching it a bit too far, but Godfrey was certainly inside his zone when he hit the shot into the empty net to make it 4-1. Sunday night, finished 4-0 to the Wildcats. Shut out on home ice. Not great. First period, just got punished. Leaving Aaron Nell close in with very little pressure on him. I think everybody knows what's going to happen there, and lo and behold, it did. They raced into a 3-0 lead, grabbed a fourth in the second period, and that was kind of it really. I would say the game petered out, but it didn't quite, because a bit of a scuffle towards the end with Ryan Leese and Josh Shaw. Both of them picked up just 2 minutes for roughing with about 3 minutes to go. And that was kind of that. Interesting stuff. In terms of, I guess, the positives, both netminders got 60 minutes apiece. Yes, I know we only scored 1 goal over the 2 games, but Mar on Saturday night and Tyler Pear on the Sunday night, they both made some really, really good saves. Mar in particular, I don't know how he kept some of the shots out. I really don't. He was sort of scrambling across his crease and somehow got something to it to keep them out. My thoughts are there's no way we're going to run into netminders who put those performances in, week out. It would be beyond unlucky for that to be the case. So I'm sure the goals will flow. For Swindon, I'd be impressed if their netminders could do that again this season, because it really was phenomenal. I think I noticed a bit more of a physical edge to Swindon, actually. Bricknell was definitely sort of throwing some hits around and looking sort of to get things going, and I think they did a good job of drawing penalties as well from the Tigers. Our penalty kill was solid, but again, against Swindon, now Malazinski, players like that, you don't want to be giving them a man advantage. And I think they did do a good job of drawing penalties from us. So in terms of the Tigers, next week, we've got a doubleheader against Peterborough. So hopefully we'll be able to get some goals in that one. And win would be nice. But realistically, it's pre-season. The key thing is get the minutes in the legs. Get the line combinations worked out, get the power play up and running, get the penalty kill going, all those kinds of things. So disappointed in terms of results for the Tigers this weekend. Performances, were all right. I think you could tell it was sort of the opening weekend, and players just sort of getting themselves going. Still think that, yeah, we're definitely going to be good enough to finish 7th in the league, as predicted last week in predictions episode. And looking forward to that being proved right. I mean, obviously, if they want to finish higher in the league, I'll happily take that. But yeah, I think we'd be unlucky to not make the playoffs. And yeah, I think 7th is very much realistic and still on the cards, because we certainly weren't blown out of the water by Swindon. And as I say, on another night, we could easily have had more than just one goal across the weekend. So that's it for this episode. Next week I'll be back, and again I'll be taking a look at the pre-season results. I'll also be previewing the fixtures for the opening league weekend. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back this time next week. Bye for now.